He's like, I want to cause trouble so bad. Take a look at that. Is that even shit going?
That's you tagging me and shit.
No, that's what he did. It was me bringing it up. Alright. Ooh. People are watching us. Alright, you can see it on your end too. Oh, you watching it from the beginning? Alright, want to welcome everybody to the South Congress Podcast Fan by Fan Show for CW's The Flash. I am Cameron, joined by Travis. Travis, how's it going?
What up, what up? Going good.
Alright, so we're doing something a bit different this week. Not only are we doing the podcast, which will be up later tonight, early tomorrow morning for people who listen to it on the RSS feed or on SoundCloud, on iTunes, or on Stitcher. We're actually doing it live on Facebook as well. So, if you guys have watched, tonight's episode, follow along with us. If not, you may want to tune out because it's immediate spoilers like half an hour after the show went off. So yeah, everybody can see, the pink blankets and that anniversary picture, happy birthday balloons, and Muhammad Ali poster everywhere. So yeah, this is how I live when I'm living. So yeah, we got our first half of our 2-part Gorilla City episode, and we spent a good portion of the episode trying to figure out how it was going to be 2 parts.
Well, yeah, the last 15 minutes for sure. Like, okay, how are you? And once they jumped and you had 10 minutes left in the show, and they got back to Earth 1 safely with no, nobody trailed them, nobody hitched along. It's like, well, how the hell did they?
Everything was really neat and tidy.
It was totally so neat and tidy, and it was like they're just gonna. It should be just the next. This was like your flavor of the week kind of deal, but no, it is definitely.
Like it almost makes you wonder if they originally did it as a single episode. And I'm like, you know what? We can stretch this out. Like, even if it was just
like we came in under budget, and we can do another week of not only gorillas but an army of gorillas.
They told us we got the gorillas for another week,
yeah,
and we didn't plan for it. So let's figure a way to shoehorn them in, right? So to set up the episode, we ended last week with Jessie coming through a breach, saying she needs everybody help because her dad was taken, in Gorilla City. All right, so that's kind of where we end up opening up this week. You guys get to see all the gaps that we cut out of the show when we do it, like when we get to editing. So yeah, we open up. We got somebody running through the jungle. HR through Gorilla City.
Oh well, Harry Wells.
Harry Wells, not HR. Because HR is it's our other guy. Yeah. So yeah, and he's zigzagging every which way, and you guys can't hear it, but we can hear the gorillas yelling. Gorillas yelling in the midst. Can I say that? Yeah. So he ends up jumping through the forest, and he gets tackled midair by a gorilla.
He swore he had it though, and he had me convinced like, oh, that was his escape. Nope.
Yeah, and it basically opens with Jessie explaining the story to everybody. So Joe doesn't even know there's a Gorilla City, and when we opened up talking about it, you were kind of like, wait, Gorilla City's on Earth 2? But yeah, that's where they sent him. Yeah. He was on Earth 1. Caitlyn distracted him long enough for Barry to knock him back through a breach.
Super punched him in the chest.
City, yeah. And one thing I was telling you, kind of the big thing about Grodd in the comics is that he's always plotting to take over Gorilla City. And they really played into that this episode with him not being in charge of it, but him trying to usurp power, basically.
Yeah, and then you realize that those guys weren't necessarily the bad guys. They weren't, just because they're big, smart gorillas doesn't mean that they were, necessarily going to hurt anybody or try to take over humanity.
And this is how deep the plan was. Somebody from Gorilla City sent them an algorithm, which ended up being a coded message.
Sent Harry Wells on Earth 2, and it took him a week to decrypt it. They still, maybe we'll get into it next week when we maybe see more of the internal workings of the gorillas and the hierarchy and stuff. But there was no later in the episode
where they said what it actually was.
What it was, or you didn't get any clue on, oh, there's their computer station.
Mm-hmm. Like, how did you get this message out?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even have mirrors as near as we can tell. So where did this come from?
I mean, granted, they have architecture and
telepathy.
sculpting and crazy telepathy, but that's a far cry from.
Yeah, So, like, she's telling the story, and she ends up seeing HR and assumes it's her dad's safe. And he's like, hey.
See, I missed this.
Yeah. I did too at the beginning, right? And she slowly realizes, like, that's not who I think it is. Like,
That's
this
HR.
is, yeah. Like,
Okay, so, because when I asked the question, why isn't she
like, freaking out?
freaked out that she's talking to her dad's doppelganger? Well, because they had the big moment already, and she was able to get over it, be shocked and all that stuff.
So, yeah. And he says, like, I'm sorry for the confusion. Yeah. Like, my bad. I mean, I thought somebody was happy to see
sorry for existing.
Yes, I was happy to see him. Yeah, right.
He did give her a crazy hug back, like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like he knew her. Like he didn't have to do all that.
So we go back to the big dry erase board, the big clear board, and one of the things on the board was the city's still recovering after guerrilla attack. So by Grodd showing up, it's bringing that, at least the idea of it to fruition.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody's like, "Hey, we see how this all ties together. This can't be a coincidence." Of course not. So,
Music noise.
hey, Grodd's planning something. So, like, the whole team's together trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and Barry says, hey, if we rescue Wells, we can figure out what Grodd's planning. Maybe it changes the future, and then Iris jumps in, which will change my future. All right? So the plan is save Harry. It saves Iris. And Barry says, hey, I have to go, regardless of what this is going to do to the timeline, because, here's my boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody objected.
No,
I mean, they all understood, like, Harry has to be safe.
Cisco's like, yeah, we had so much fun there last time. So Cisco agrees he's going because he has to open the breach. Caitlyn knows she has that connection with Grodd, so she agrees to go. Mm-hmm. Jessie's like, yo, I'm going. And he's like, no, Jessie, you're not going. And probably what he was thinking was, Jessie, remember last time you were locked up and how much hell we had to go through to get you back? How about you stay here?
Zoom had her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is he actually wants her to stay there and protect the city with Wally. Because Wally's still not quite ready to go solo.
So do you think it's like two rookies kind of deal?
And she's like, help Wally what? And then he vibrates. And she's like, oh, you're a speedster now. And we spent like a good part of the episode trying to figure out exactly what's going through her head. And it makes sense. Like, it eventually got to the point where it's like, oh, okay, I understand. And really,
does it?
We'll get to it, but it's something that I was talking about. How, like, Wally's whole thing is his speed. And so, like, can they coexist while he has that in his life, too? Because I don't think, like, I think they're going to end up together, but they're not going to both end up together as speedsters, I don't think. So, again, ultimately, Wally's fate seems to be he's the one that's going to lose out on the thing that he wants the most. Because they keep playing up how important his speed is to him.
Yeah, and that's already, like, it already sucks because, like, to me that just doesn't make any sense. Like, why is that something he did? Like, if he has to voluntarily give it up, like, what a selfish woman she is.
Just gonna stab him in the spine. Never coming back. But yes, well, selfish woman. Valentine's episode was last week, so not gonna. Yeah, but no. So Barry goes to the office and he talks to Julian, and he's like, "Hey, can you cover for me?"
He wants Julian here to cover for him.
I'm going to a parallel Earth to go save my friend. From apes. He's like, "You going to the planet of the apes?"
Well, a city of them.
Yeah. He's like, but and then like he won't be deterred. Like, you're going to the planet of the apes. He's like, okay, I'll hold it down, and you can see the wheels turning in his head, right? Yeah. So Barry's getting ready to go. He's suited up. He's telling Iris, like, yo, watch out for Wally. Make sure that he doesn't. She's like, I got this. Mm-hmm. And you get, I think they did you just go to the camera? Mm-hmm. They did kind of a sweet moment between the two of them, though. Like, they didn't spend a whole lot on that this episode because it was more focused on having to save somebody else. She's like, yeah, I'll be back. And then Joe's talking to Barry. He's talking about what Wally can't do. And he's like, Wally can hear you, right?
Yeah.
Wally's
like right over there. Wally did
I'm here.
The Ice Cube Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Problem over here?
And so then, of course, Julian shows up in full safari gear. With the hat.
Looking like a total nerd.
Yeah.
Matching.
Got the gun, not the gun belt, but the water jug crossing the camera, I assume. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I thought you were going to cover for me. He's like, I spoke to the captain. He thinks we're going to a morphology conference up in Bloodhaven.
Looks like Safari villain from Jumanji.
Yes.
He looks like without the overly dumb hat.
Look at the other white guys in Tarzan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, so you just want to sightsee? And he pulls out the prettiest pistol.
He got a nice little 45.
Yeah, right? He said, no, I'm ready to shoot a gorilla because that's what people hunt gorillas with, a handgun.
I mean, you dump 45 bullets in a gorilla's chest, he's gonna go down.
Better hit him in the same spot. Gotta push the bullets in. So yeah, Cisco opens a breach, and they all go through. Again, heavy budget, because that breach was really like a DS2 cover. Pretty good.
It was. Just without all the, just one flavor.
Yeah, I feel like they have just enough CGI to cover like a half a square mile of jungle. Because they're not really moving through these trees.
Those trees, yeah. It's like watching the background of like Scooby-Doo or Flintstones, where it's like, oh,
yeah, the
just,
characters
they
are moving, but they just
looping that scene.
Right? They have it like on like they have it like around the cup, and they just spin it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see the Gorilla City entrance with the big gorilla head next to the pyramid, and then the big spears held by other gorillas, which happens to be through the jungle in a clearing because budget. All right, so we're back in the same stretch of jungle. Earth to Africa, not hot, because global warming's not really a thing here. Listen, this show is pushing that liberal agenda, boy.
No, because Earth 2 is super progressive, and like they use their technology for the betterment of everybody and everything. So
like they only have supervillain guy. Like you ever heard about any like political conspiracy or nothing like that?
So besides like Zoom and
everything's pretty cool.
Yeah,
everything's made of gold there.
It really is.
Yeah,
it's like
it actually
sepia font or filter on everything. Sepia.
Definitely makes the PowerPoints pretty. So yeah, Wally's like, hey, Jessie, want to go for a run? And she's like, yeah, maybe later. I don't really want to do that. Again, Wally's hair grew a lot in a week. Yeah. I'm not going to stop drawing attention to that.
I assumed with her it was that she didn't want to be a hero. Like that just wasn't her thing. She did a little maybe on Earth 2, but didn't like the pressure.
Didn't want to stick with it.
And then when she's just reminded by hanging around with Barry and now Wally that, oh, these guys thrive on that. Like, they'll run into a damn burning building. I'm like, do I have to?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But that never really, that was, her whole thing was all feelings. It had nothing to do with being a hero or anything. It was just all about Wally and her. So,
yeah.
A little less. Thought that would have added to her, a little layer, but.
I think we get like kind of the cool family thing where his dad and his sister exist in his personal life. And like just, kind of on top of him about it. She's like, yo, what is going on with her? She's probably upset that her dad's missing Wally. Like, she probably doesn't want to be all flirty with you right now. Yeah. And it's like, she'll be fine. Give her some time. And then Iris says, and then, lock it down. Who says that? And she's like, you think I didn't notice your Facebook profile still says single? And even they're like, no, but you have a girlfriend, though. Like, even if you don't say it, that girl's your girlfriend. There's a bank robbery. You two go. And then they speed out. And it's the most regular robbery ever.
So overly regular.
2 bags.
Worst bank robbery. First off, and then look, the bag's a little open so you see the money. They run out right onto the...
Forget how cool her suit looks.
No masks. Nothing. And they're sitting there, they're taking them so lightly.
Yeah, we got it. And Wally just goes, takes them both out. And then you see the lady in the background who kind of stopped and looked over her shoulder. So we took care of them. And they're wrapped up. And everybody, of course, runs out the bank then. Everybody's clapping, and he's a big grin on his face. He's like, nah, guys, it's cool. It's cool. Because he's Wally.
And I thought this added to my theory, because she's just like, whatever, I'm over it. And wasn't taking any adulation or happy that she caught the bad guys or none of that.
But even this to me was like, he's getting a lot of juice. I don't think she likes his attitude because of it. So yeah.
But yeah, once I think of it, yep, that makes a lot of sense too. I don't understand why. She talked later about you're on your own journey, so she kind of didn't like blow up his spot like for real, like she could have. Like,
no, it's
just
like
a hater and jealous or.
It's like when I was in college. Like I dated a girl who had a car and I didn't have a car. If I got a car, then that would have changed because then I'm free to do more things. and she might not be included in those things.
Yeah, well, dynamics freaking change.
And people get mad about them. That's the whole thing. Like, it upsets people emotionally. They don't want that.
I'm like that.
He's like, as you argue with, he's like, no, that's me. Yeah. I'm talking about Caitlyn's jacket with the hood with the brand.
Jacket was the best.
With the brand. I'm sure it's Supreme.
It's
you see Supreme has those Metro cards now? Huh? Supreme, like the brand, has Metro cards now.
To do what with?
Like, no, to get on the Metro. Like Metro cards for like the New York subs. And people were clamoring around the machine to get them because Hypebeast loves Supreme that much.
Oh, did they sell a brick?
They sold a brick. It was a Supreme brick. Yeah. So while we're talking about the Supreme brick, Barry finds, I guess, or Cisco finds
the
HR's watch.
Beacon, I guess that's what they were drawn to.
Mm-hmm. And Barry realizes it's a trap, and everybody gets blow darts. Mm-hmm. And everybody passes out.
So what are you thinking? Like some kind of toxic frog?
Mm-hmm. Gotta be a frog.
Serum on the edge, or not serum, but poison on the
tips. No, it's gorilla urine. It's absolutely gorilla urine. Gorilla urine absolutely makes people pass out. It's been proven.
Oh, shit.
You've seen Congo, right?
Congo,
the Michael Crichton book turned into the movie about the smart gorillas and the Hitty City of Gold.
I think
or
in like the 90s when it was...
Yeah. Horrible movie. Not good at all. I mean, it's fun. Like, because the primary thing is there's a gorilla named Amy that they taught sign language and hooked her up to a machine to where the sign language was turned into a voice. And the gorillas were afraid of her, and that gave them the leg up to use the mining laser with the diamonds that they found on the gorillas to escape the city.
Wait, yeah. Who was escaping the gorillas? Wait, the gorillas was holding them or something?
No, the gorillas, when they got to the city, there were killer white gorillas who were protecting their diamonds.
Oh.
And they...
To do what with?
Because they protect diamonds.
That's stupid.
They just had...
to begin.
I mean, like, Lord of the Rings is based on a dragon who's protecting his gold, who can't spend it. Like, there's...
Yeah, but the dragon in itself is... Like, gorillas are real.
But they're white gorillas. Those aren't
white gorillas are real, too?
Nah, they're white gorillas. They were killer. Yo, the guy, Grant Heslov, do you know who that actor is? The curly-haired Middle Eastern dude from True Lies, who was on the good guy's side. I always feel like that's a reference everybody will get.
Yeah.
Anyway, they ripped his head off in the movie. It's pretty dope. But yeah, it was basically about, greedy Americans or British or whoever trying to get diamonds. And
so it was basically Avatar on Earth.
Sure. So everything's Pocahontas. Exactly, right? So we're in Gorilla City now, which, I mean, I just watched Disney's Jungle Book, like last weekend before last. So I'm like, no, that's what this is. I bet it is. Danny, I bet it is weird.
Still download the episode, though.
Yeah.
Seriously, we need them downloaded.
Clicks matter. So yeah. So right outside of like the Gorilla City, which is basically like pyramids, they have a Roman Colosseum because gorillas. When you invented everything, you get to choose what cultures, you want to borrow from or adapt. So everybody's in prison. Gorillas of the future. So everybody's in prison, but of course there are power dampeners, so nobody can get out.
They didn't explain that either.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, they say it. Something's holding me back.
No.
They didn't show like the machine. Yeah.
Something what?
But you know what?
This idea
the way that I read it was that it was Grodd doing it.
Right.
Mentally.
Yeah. Okay. So
Grodd must be their own power somehow. But yeah, that's all they get.
But if Grodd was doing that mentally, it makes their plan later.
How are you getting things past
even more like implausible, like
because he would know. Yeah. So of course, Wells comes down the stairs, and like I already assume like no, it's Grodd in his head because that's what Grodd does.
Yeah.
And it is Grodd talking through him, and we drew attention to this. The cool thing was he talks with his jaw jutted out just a bit as he goes on.
In that super deep, raspy voice.
Mm-hmm.
Just
so this is what the fourth character he's played. Tom Cavanaugh's doing his thing.
Technical.
Get that man an Emmy. I think he played in the Celebrity All-Star game, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I don't know what his stat line was. Bishop keeps running by the camera. You can see like a little bit of his head.
3 points, 3 rebounds,
7 assists. good hoop sesh.
Which is I don't know why he was trashing those.
Because he's not Earl Boykins or whoever. Like he's not, he's not Speedy Claxton.
Like I hated to agree with Corbett. Like that's a solid off the bench.
It's not. That's a term. That's a terrible stat. No. And the worst part is you gonna throw your points out there first when it's 3.
Yeah, that's what they come up with.
Oh my gosh.
Especially if he has 0 turns.
If they were playing to 1 and the other guy got off work and subbed him out the game after the first quarter, then it's a great stat line. You don't brag about those numbers. Ever. Yeah, went out and played a pickup football game, 2 catches for 15 yards in a strip. But no, as we ignore everything that Grodd's like telling them basically. So I mean he basically gives them the plan though. Other guys in charge.
Yeah.
Grodd's like
foul law or whatever the hell.
And so Grodd says, look, he wants to take over, or he wants to take an army to Central City.
He hates humans. He's afraid of humans. Mm-hmm. So he wants to he's seen what humans do in human gorilla relationships. So he wants to be forward thinking or and get them first. Mm-hmm. So he wants to attack Central City specifically. Like that should have been their first. Yeah.
So he tells Flash, you got to fight him in the arena to the death. When they see that he's weak, they won't follow him. I'll take charge.
And I promise I won't attack Central City.
Since people are special to me in Central City.
Yeah. And he looks at Caitlyn.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to do anything. So, yeah. Bunch of BS. Don't believe a second of it. He says, I rule the gorillas. I promise to keep them in Gorilla City. But you know what's funny, though? Like, with everything that he's done, though, there's really no reason not to trust him. Even though, like, we know kind of what's coming. We know how long the episode is. He hasn't done anything decidedly against humans. Because he was under Zoom's control at first. And then when he broke out, he was confused, but he still cared about Caitlyn. So he's not really mad until now. And then, of course, King Solivar shows up. Oh, no, Grodd. This is still Grodd, as a matter of fact. He says, if you beat him, you're safe. If you don't, your city's going to be turned to ash. I'm burning the whole thing down, son. And so Wally does get to go talk to Jessie, trying to figure out exactly what's going on with her. And he is like, did I do something wrong? Which is, men always ask women, what did I do, sweetheart? I see you, Bishop. And and she tells him, she's like, I thought one day we figured out a way to be together.
Here you are, saving people's lives.
You have powers. I was like, I never hear from you. It's fair. Like, you don't text.
How are they supposed to communicate?
Come on, man. They can jump dimension to dimension. I'm sure they can send an email. Like, there's a frequency, like Cisco. Go ahead and throw this through here. Throw this rock I wrote a note on through the breach. And she says, like, when I first got my powers, you were so lost not having yours. And I think maybe part of the reason why you liked me was you were attracted to the speed, not me.
He just laughed that off.
As I hear more of it, though, I get where she's coming from, though. Now that you have the speed, like you have this thing that I had, you don't need me as much. And he's like, no, girl, I have all the speed in the world. I'm not complete without you.
Which was so cheesy.
Mm-hmm. And he says, stay. Grabs her by the hand. By both hands. Big grin. And she's still shook. I don't believe you. Because he wasn't, he was tweeting and not texting. I seen the funniest thing. Somebody was like, she was like, so you can say good night to me, but you still tweeting? I said good night to you.
Not the whole world.
So yeah, fair.
That's the word. Don't scrutinize my social media.
Yeah.
I will block you from seeing any of it.
Exactly. So now they're starting to try to figure out a plot. Look at these brightly colored gorillas.
Walking all upright.
Mm-hmm. And so Grodd basically took Solivar to meet Flash. He said, yo, why didn't you tell me more humans came in? So
I was about to inform you.
Dang, and then Solivar slaps the shit out of Grodd.
Backhanded that motherfucker.
And so, like, you already see the tension between them. And
he sells it. I mean, not sells it, but it all played into, I mean, Grodd knew what... he clearly knows how people are going to react and knows how to manipulate people.
And it's interesting, like, you'd think another sentient gorilla shows up with knowledge from another world that he would have, like, some type of standing with Solivar.
Right.
But no, he's clearly the stepchild.
And I don't understand, like, why hasn't his intellect gotten him in... Or maybe you can figure, well, he's got basically the king of the gorillas. He's, if not his right hand, he's up there as far as his confidence. So he is.
Yeah, he's in position.
He is, you're right. The fact that he's in position to take over in a coup shows that, well, he's close.
Exactly.
And he's not like some underling or intern.
So as Solivar questions their motives, he's basically like, yo, I'll fight you. If I win, you leave us alone. If you win, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You won. So yeah, I can't really tell you nothing from that point.
And then Solivar's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna grant all your friends a horrible death.
I'm taking everybody out, son. Yo, Grodd still ain't gotten up.
Grodd's selling it.
He wasn't really hurt.
Grodd's selling it. It's Grodd making him...
Getting him real comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the arena is pretty dope, though.
And they came right back to it. Like, there was no...
We like now. No entrance.
No, not even that. I just mean, like...
Introduction.
No, like... like, underneath the Coliseum pep talk from, somebody on...
And they stay
far enough away. Well, you know what I just noticed?
What?
They got the gorillas in the audience are on some...
WWE 2K17?
Video game shit, like they're all
8 guys are doing this, and then 13 guys are going like this. Yeah. All right. So the horns are blaring. It's time to go. And then you got...
Grodd's got himself a premium seat.
Grodd's ready for the outcome. And Solivar has the spear and his shield. Your friends will follow you to the black. He's like, I got a plan. It's all about the speed punches. Yeah, speed punches. Come on, Barry. That was a dumb plan.
I don't understand, though.
You're not going to get body shots on no gorilla. Right at him, the gorilla reflexes, boy.
Which is, I don't think they didn't explain, like, why are these gorillas so dope?
Yeah.
Like, how was he able to get his shield up even in time to defend Barry's? I mean, Barry travels at the speed of light.
But he doesn't always fight at the speed of light.
He needs to.
Punches. I think that's one thing that's always good about Flash, though. If Flash trained for a year under Batman, there'd be no beating Flash. He'd be a ninja with super speed. So I think they have to have him do novice fight stuff in order to make, his powers not godlike. So people read him unlike Superman, who still doesn't have hands. But yeah, so Barry's building up all the speed that he can, running around Solivar, trying to confuse him.
And he's with the shits, so he gets it. Like, okay, no.
Yo, and he jumps up really high, drops the shield, stabs down with the spear, and basically does the
Which creates a big giant.
What is that? Who does that? Does the Jax Mortal Kombat 2 ground pound, which knocks Barry off his pivot and lays him out. Why can they see the whole fight?
I don't know.
Where's the prison set up?
And they never showed you their point of view either.
And he's like, this reversal of fortune is quite bad. He's like, yo, it's time to pull a reverse Flash. And so he does the reverse Flash, stick my hand through your stomach.
It's not a reverse Flash, though.
I mean, it is. It's the non-fatal version.
Yeah, I guess.
So he builds up the hand vibration and hits him with the Bruce Lee poke. or hits him with the Kill Bill
five
five-finger heart hit. And he's out.
He ain't get to walk them 3 steps though. Before collapsing. He just went right down.
Why didn't Bill just sit down in the chair?
Or not get up. He was already sitting down.
I would have just rolled. Rolled for the rest of his life.
I ain't going nowhere.
I'm cool. Bill, don't you have to use the bathroom? I don't care. Yeah. And so Barry kind of pleads with everybody. He's like, yo, we're not killers and murderers, humans. I won. We just want peace. I'm trying to go home. I want to go see my girl. I'm sparing your leader. We call it mercy. And look at Grodd. And Grodd, like, take him out. He gets hit with another dart.
Another dart.
And out of there. So now he's back in jail. Barry, you got 2 strikes. So now, once he wakes up, they're kind of trying to plot out exactly what they need to do here.
Yeah, they realize, okay, nobody's going to keep their promise. Grodd ain't.
Everybody's a liar.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, you won. And so Harry's still knocked out.
Not anymore.
Now I'm awake. But it's not me. Still Grodd. Then he tells him, he's like, yo, I won. So Solovar promised he'd let us go. And he said, no. And so now you realize there's been a shift in power.
Yep.
Solovar's words mean nothing. He said, you never planned on let's go, did you? Told you I needed you. He says, I couldn't defeat him in combat, but you could. He said, now I'm the ruler of Gorilla City. You mean plotting, boy. I mean, this is really so much like Planet of the Apes, though.
And then Barry realized that Solovar didn't want to attack Gorilla City, or Central City.
You tell me, you took my home.
Grodd's the one that did.
Taking it back. So all the gorillas saw what you did. They saw you beat them, and now they are afraid.
They're even more afraid of humans, and they'll do anything I order them to. We're going to invade your Earth, and your city will burn.
You were playing this the whole time. Yep.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what was going to go down.
Father taught me well. Always think ahead.
Reverse
And Father
flash,
was Zoom,
boy.
right?
A reverse flash.
Was Thawne? Okay.
Yep, remember he was season 1. The first time we saw Grodd. And then season 2
was Zoom.
Yeah, was when he came back for a minute when they sent him to Earth 2.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And so so he's like, Cisco, you're gonna open the breach to the first Earth. My army's gonna go through the breach. All the humans in Central City will burn before Gorilla Khan. And Cisco's like, what the hell would I do that? Like, what are you talking about? See, Grodd, you're smart. You may be smarter than all of us. Smart enough to know that you can't do this.
It's not logical.
Yeah.
Violence and intelligence are opposite of each other.
And he tells him like how smart he is. He thinks on it a little bit.
But he's like, you forget, I am an animal. I'm a gorilla. Kill or be killed.
That's the primary. He says, I'm going to get out of here and stop you. And then Grodd's gone again. But then he's back. No, you won't. So yeah. Now we got to figure out how to get out of this pickle. That was fast. Alright, so now, like basically they're plotting on how they're going to make this work. And HR, or Wells finally wakes up. Harry
and he's Harry. And he recognizes Snow, and he's like, what the hell are you guys doing here?
So I got a headache, I guess. Ooh. Maybe he smelled himself.
So he probably smells like gorilla ass, right?
Yes.
More than anything.
Because you've been getting dragged around.
Hanging around gorillas,
for days. Yeah. And he's like, your daughter's fine.
And you're in the Amazon, or you're in the friggin' Congo wearing a sweater. So
even though it's not global warming, you're still with, sap. Yeah, he's like, you're in the city of evil genius apes. And he said, I don't deserve it, but thank you, Snow, thank you, Barry, Cisco, and Indiana Jones. And Indiana. He had to laugh a little bit.
It's Julian Albert, thank you.
Thank you. said, I came along I live for danger. You came to the right place. So we can't phase through the bars. We have to find a way out so that we can stop you. And it's really interesting, like, how they decided. They're like, yo, if we're stuck in here, like, somebody's going to have to give up something so that we can get out. And I don't know who it has to be. Bishop, you just had to get in the video, didn't you? Do you see the video? Oh, boy. Okay. She was like, you plan on dying? Only if you kill me. And then he said, look, this is something that we actually do have to consider. I can't think of another way to stop him. There's no other way of getting to Central City. He's like, yes, Cisco's death will change the newspaper timeline into the future. And this is where...
But make another one.
Rose is like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, but it make it true about Killer Frost. He said, you want me to kill you? He's like, think about it. Grodd doesn't know you have cold powers, so that's still kind of their ace in the hole.
Right, and Harry's like, you got cold powers? Again, long story.
Yep. He's like, I knew it. He said, I knew you and I did not get Barry out of that mirror.
Which was a really good
that's what you called earlier. It was a good call.
Season 2, yeah.
And he says, if you do it, then we kill Frost the rest of your life. I didn't come all this way to see that happen. And she's like, then you come out here because you live for danger. So we're starting to see, like, we see how you feel.
She's starting to see it. We already.
You're not just working with them for fun. This don't sound like fun. Yeah. So let's come up with the next best plan that doesn't involve murdering one of your friends. And it's actually a pretty good plan they come up with. So basically, and they show it, it's off camera that it happened.
But then, friggin' Barry's like, actually, it's what we have to do. One of us has to die. Yeah.
So then we go back to Earth 1. HR sees Jessie like sitting up on the ramp that goes into the speed tunnel. He's like, hey, what are you doing up there? It's just kind of kicking it.
She should have been like, what's with the drumstick?
What did Chuck say? You see that at all? Is it on Will's show on mine?
Oh, I for whatever I didn't want to because it kept playing the damn thing and I didn't want the noise. But yeah.
Oh, it's not. But there, yeah. Let me see what Chuck said.
Did I miss an episode somewhere?
Not last week.
Oh, right. Last week was no episode.
Yep. Okay. So, what he says, like, my point is this. Basically, when it comes to love, you have to go for it. Everything else has to go out the window. And if you don't, you're going to end up being the kind of person that saves lives with the rest of their life. Or live the rest of their life with regret. It's like, I'm not telling you, telling your dad about switching Earths. I know it's a difficult conversation to have, but one that you got to go for if you want to be happy. You want to be happy, Bishop? Of course you do. Get down. Shh. All right. So now Jessie has a decision to make. Go. Get out.
So you should have never left in the first place.
Oh boy. So yeah, they have, and we kind of know what's going on immediately when you see it. So they had Caitlyn basically freeze Barry just enough to where, I guess, slow down his heart so much.
But again, so she could use her powers a little bit, but Barry couldn't use his powers a little bit, or Cisco couldn't use his powers a little bit?
Well, yeah, but again, like, they don't expressly say how he's doing it, but he's sabotaging the powers of the people that he knows. Hey, Grodd's got a lot on his mind, man.
Right.
Well, actually, and Cisco could use his power a little bit.
You heard it.
Yeah. So
you heard,
yeah.
But nothing like came out.
But she, made that absolute weird zero thing happen with the mirror, so her little bit might be enough to do this. Yeah. And so he's like, well, Flash was of no use to me anyway. Like, he did his job. I was done with him. All he was going to do at this point was get in the way. So he drags him out of the cage.
Only to leave him in the room.
Throws him into the bone heap.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, because gotta eat. You sneezing? Really? He's like, he's gone, Barry. Grodd's gone. And so Barry starts to vibrate really, really fast. And he wakes up. But it's not easy for him. Like, he doesn't just jump up immediately. That hypothermia set in.
But because he can vibrate on a molecular level, he can bring all his cells back.
Got everything back.
Yeah.
And they have a really heavy cage door.
I mean, shit, gorillas are, you know.
Like, it's not heavy for them, right? Like, that felt normal. That felt like a normal lock for them. He said, nah, I'm good. He said, well, let's get out of here. And yeah, it takes him a minute. While he was doing this, I was like, I wonder if he can duplicate himself fast enough to where it's like 3 guys lifting that thing. He could maybe do it. Like, if he could move fast enough to create duplicates to where, like...
Didn't he fight somebody that had that power?
Yes. Get his ass, too. So, they quickly speed out of Gorilla City after they open the cage.
Yeah.
They're back in the middle of the jungle.
But they never... How did Barry carry 5 people, or 4 people in himself?
Yeah. It's a good question.
But then not do it again right here.
Yeah. Like, why are we running to one spot? Like, throw everybody through.
Yeah.
So everybody gets through the breach before Grodd and the cronies show up.
Right, Grodd shows up,
Ooh,
breach is gone.
He's about 5 seconds too late.
Yeah, he's way too late.
And
he's
not
salty
happy
about it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we're like, okay, 52 minutes, 53 minutes into the
like
show.
right
What the hell?
At the end,
No
what was
one-
going on?
Yeah, no one hitched a ride, you know, throughout the breach.
So the breach starts to open.
What was Wells doing?
Yeah.
What was that?
He was gearing up for everybody to come back. I think he was working his mojo in that terrible hat. So yeah, they save Wells. Everything's on the up and up. Everybody's happy.
Everybody's hugging.
Tight. So yeah, a word of advice: don't volunteer for these things. People get ripped. You don't get ripped limb from limb if you don't volunteer. So you know, Harry's really grateful, and then HR shows up. He's like, I just forgot how handsome you were. He's like, oh, I forgot. You're still here? He's like, yeah, I'm still here.
He's like, well, thanks for your tactical and technical genius. They're like, nah.
And he has that face, and everybody makes the face. Everybody makes the
even
face.
HR himself, like,
not so much.
Even Jessie's like, nah, he's kind of an idiot, Dad.
He's like, but you couldn't even remember the ATM code.
He said it's only 4 digits. Why is he still here?
Yeah, we couldn't do it without him.
Yeah. Cisco's wearing the worst Scully, like.
It's not great.
Yeah.
That's the baby from the meme. And the Soldier Boy Scully.
Yo, you think Big Cisco can't come to the hood?
Big Cisco.
Cisco can't come to the hood.
And they're all super happy about how they won.
Yeah.
Right?
Jesse's, you know, tending to her sleeping day.
Who hopefully took a shower.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay, he has fresh clothes on.
Hose his ass off, yeah.
You know, they just hose him off.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh,
Burn his
man.
clothes.
He said he's going to be all right. So Wally's talking to Jessie. She's like, Caitlyn said he just needs some food and a little sleep. She's like, okay. So it's time to talk about this relationship. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry that I've been tripping. I've been going through it. He said, my dad was kidnapped once. And, you know, he turned your world. And she says, you turned my world, Wally. Oh, boy. Ooh. And she's like, I need you to be honest about something. And she says, my dad wakes up if I tell him that I love him. And I'll always be his daughter. But I want to move to Earth 1. And what do you think about it? He doesn't even let her finish it, just kisses her. As he should.
I would like a nice little callback to the fact that, like if she said Earth 1, you know, because to them, it's not Earth 1. It's
your Earth.
Your Earth or Earth Prime. I mean, even saying Earth Prime.
And then here comes HR. He took my love advice. And with his giant mug. And his jacket that's kind of oversized. And, yeah. Super excited. Say congratulations, I'm happy for the both of you. And invite me to the wedding. And then he's looking at himself and he's like, he's going to be so pissed. Because, yeah, Harry's going to be very mad. So now we're outside and why is he still wearing that outfit? I guess he didn't have time to go home. But he's like, yo, if I overstep, I do apologize. Just, you know, after drinks the other night, say you're willing to risk your life for me? He's like, I've done a lot of silly things recently. I thought adding one more to the list wouldn't do any harm. And she says, I like you. I really do. I like that you like me. But I'm also afraid of my powers. And not what they can do to me, but what they can do to anyone who gets close to me.
And he says, I'm not afraid. She's like, well, you should be. You need to fear me. And she's like, that's not a threat, just, good advice. But he could have easily, bitched up, but he flipped that, all right, well,
he's like, all right, I'll fear you.
Why don't we go be scared together? Okay,
you know,
Julian.
just when I'm scared, I probably finna go left. I gotta put that thing on because I'm so frightened, so that I can get to sleep. Yeah. But he's like, let's go get some steak and some mashed potatoes. I respect it.
And she, was like, all right.
Mm-hmm. This is like her third.
She probably realizes he's not going to give up.
Yeah, he's yeah.
Are you saying two with Ron, or two separate ones with Ronnie? Or?
Sure, but I mean Ronnie and then Zoom.
Oh, Jay. Yeah. That was, you calling that a relationship?
He beat.
He did?
He beat. He beat. Think about it. He absolutely beat.
Just assuming.
Nah, he beat. He did. I know. But yeah, so now we have Iris and Barry at home. He's like, yo, we can stop him. Like, I'm so confident in what we're doing right now. And, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but we probably have Jessie rocking with us for the rest of the season.
Which is going to, it's like getting too crowded.
But we're on episode 13, I think. Like, we're getting home stretchy.
Yeah.
Because she ain't going to be 3 in season 4. Ain't no way.
Who, yeah. Jessie? You're saying
ain't going to be 3 of them. Sometime.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. So Barry gets the happy ending with Iris. He's definitely about to beat. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. I don't know when I'm going to sleep. So now we're back in Gorilla City. And, your man, Grodd has the full gear on, full armor. His whole squad does. And he's like, now you're going to open the breaches. And very soon, Central City will fall before Grodd. And, he has Gypsy, assumingly undermine power. He has thousands of gorillas ready for war.
In armor, full armor, and...
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have all 3 speedsters, together. We have Grodd leading an army. We got the police. We got Barry practicing on a punching bag. SWAT team. Ripped open a helicopter, I think, or a tank.
Or a tank, I was thinking.
Yeah. So we're going full frontal guerrilla assault next week. But excuse me, I thought this episode was good.
Yeah.
Again, like we were trying to figure out how it seems so self-contained.
It'll probably be like season 2's Earth 2 double episode, where the first one. No, I just mean the quality of the episodes. Like the first one was good, but I don't want to say stunted, but very, like you said, tidy. Very the things wrapped up. And then next week is going to be when the shit hits the fan and we get all the action. Yep. This was of the double episode. This was the more talky one, and the relationshipy one. Next week's going to be kicking ass,
we'll get the action,
and beating gorilla ass and that kind of thing.
I don't like you said with relationships. Everybody's kind of got further. We actually have like a nice wrapped up, neat and tidy Barry and Iris story.
Right.
Of course, Caitlyn and Julian got closer. We have like a definitive relationship between Jessie and Wally, which they kind of beat around for a long time, and that seems to be pretty firm at this point. And then we got a little bit of action with Barry fighting Solar, which I thought was cool. I think again with the budget that they have, I think Gorilla City looks good. I think the gorillas look good, and so next week you feel like it's going to be a step up because we're going to have like an actual knockdown, drag out fight. It seems,
armies of
between the two
armed gorillas.
So another good episode. Again, the first part of our Gorilla City arc, season 3, episode 12. Episode 12 or episode 13? Episode 13. Attack on Gorilla City. Want to thank everybody who tuned in to watch on Facebook. We'll see just how often we do this. The dog won't sit still, so I'm just waiting for him to knock the camera over. But yeah, if you didn't get a chance to see this on Facebook, again, we are on iTunes. Just search South Congress, Stitcher, South Congress. If you listen on SoundCloud, the South Congress page is on there.
I would suggest them searching you on SoundCloud, Seahawk.
Really?
That's
I changed it.
That's where everything. I went to SoundCloud. There are like 2 episodes of something there.
Okay.
Maybe the mic interview or something.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, where would it be? And I was like, oh. Then I saw like, yeah, and I was like, oh right.
Okay.
So they're all there.
So if you listen to this not on that platform, then Seahawk, CEEHAWK. As for what we're doing the rest of this week, of course, Travis and I will be on his show tomorrow, the Pro Wrestling Torch East Coast Cast, from 5:30 Central until whenever. I'll be on probably live on Facebook again tomorrow evening with my man Mike O'Hara for the tentatively titled O'Hara Mode podcast. We have something interesting going tomorrow night. Some get to know your hosts with Cameron and Mike. So that'll be an interesting thing. But yeah, again, thanks for everybody for tuning in. For everybody else who listens to us on a bit of a delay, again, thanks for listening to the South Congress Podcast Fan by Fan Show for CW's The Flash. Episode 13 of Season 3, Attack on Gorilla City. Keep listening to South Congress for the Emerald City Podcast with Travis and Rich. Keep listening for the Hawkins Brothers Show. If you haven't gotten a chance to listen to it, please check out South Congress Episode 4, the Valentine's episode, so you can hear my lady friends tell you really, really terrible stories of Valentine's past.
Terrible story.
Bad stuff. Again, for Travis, I am Cameron, and we're out. Bishop's gonna knock it down. Bishop's gonna knock it down. Bishop's gonna knock it down. He didn't knock it down.